Dear students of class 9A and 9B, welcome to my history class. Today's points, as I mentioned, please look at them. First one, Aurangzeb and his policies. Second, later Mughals. Third, rise of independent kingdoms. 4, causes for the decline of the Mughals. 5, conclusion. First, Aurangzeb and his policies. You know, Aurangzeb was from the very beginning conservative ruler of the Mughal dynasty. He was typically different than that of the previous Mughal rulers. He had no interest to get all the Indians united and to bring them under one umbrella. He had no interest to gain respect and belief, faith from the Indian people. On the contrary, he did not have any faith on even his family members. He never believed anyone else and always remained within that very circle who were basically faithful and reliable to him. Very reliable persons were there. Very reliable persons. Due to his conservativeness, narrow-mindedness, in spite of being a part of 50 years' rule as a Mughal ruler, he could not achieve success. During his reign, almost all people of India were unhappy. They remained in unhappiness. His policy, whatever he framed, it did not favor Indian people. It went against the interest. It went against the interest of Indian people. He knew that India was a country of Hindu majority, but still he reimposed jizya on non-Muslims, means Hindus. Naturally, and not only that, he also killed Sikh leaders and hurt the sentiments of the Sikhs. His policy of framing new rules for the Indian people, the system by which he would collect taxes and revenues from the Indian people without providing them facilities, made him an unpopular ruler of India. And hence, people of India left their faith on Aurangzeb. Next point, later Mughals. Aurangzeb remained at Deccan for the last few years, but he was unable to defeat the Marathas. The Maratha influence was not the Maratha influence. What he wanted to crush, he was unable to do it so. And so, the Marathas were able to establish their rule in many parts of India. And so, after the death of Aurangzeb, the later Mughals allowed the Marathas to collect Sardeshmukhi and Chaudh taxes from different states of India. That means the later Mughals indirectly accepted the political supremacy of the Marathas. The later Mughals knew that the Marathas wanted to establish an all-Indian Maratha empire in India. That's why they should be given a chance to occupy some states of India. They should be given a chance to collect Sardeshmukhi taxes and revenues, Choud taxes and revenues from different Indian states, so that in course of time they could gain faith on the Mughals. But in course of time the Marathas misused their powers. While imposing two taxes, Choud and Sardeshmukhi, on different states of India, they realized that they should establish an all-Indian empire. And not only that, the Marathas had become very much tyrants. They never, during the process of their humiliation, they never leave women also. Women also were humiliated at the hands of them. They were also tortured by the Marathans. These Marathis occupied the vast area of Bengal during the reign of Nawab Alivardi Khan. Now, what was the demand of the Marathas? Imposing of two taxes, Choud and Sardeshmukhi. But Nawab Alivardi did not want to pay a single amount of money as revenues for Choud and Sardeshmukhi, and decided to fight against them. Naturally, a tug of war between the Marathas and Nawab Alivardi destroyed all hopes of different traders who started trading with Bengal and kept them in disguise, so that the Maratha dacoits or plunderers must not attack them, must not plunder their wealth, because they all came from abroad. That's why they remained silent and did not, and could not earn money. And that news reached Nawab Alivardi. When that news reached Nawab Alivardi, he decided to make a compromise. He decided to compromise. He decided to make a compromisement with the Marathas. So he compromised with the Marathas and agreed to allow them to collect two taxes from Bengal, border area of Bengal, Orissa, border area of Bihar, two taxes, Choud and Sardeshmukhi. Then the Marathas left Bengal and allowed Alivardi Khan to rule independently. Because after that incident, the Marathas started collecting two taxes from Bengal, Choud and Sardeshmukhi. The Nawab allowed them to collect it. So the matter, the disputes, the problems which were arised, and the tug of war which happened, resulted in immediate peace throughout Bengal. Only because of that reason, the Marathas became very powerful, but one drawback also was there: the Marathas could not establish their reign in India only because of their narrow mindedness. They wanted to rule alone, they did not allow other powers to continue their rule in India. But the Marathas wanted to rule alone. And within the Marathas, there was no unity. It paved the way for the declination of the Maratha influence in India. In course of time, the Maratha influence, declined due to their wrong policy, wrong strategy. Now, what are the important causes for the decline of the Mughal Empire? There are many causes for the decline of the Mughal Empire in India. Number one, Aurangzeb's wrong policy, Aurangzeb's religious policy. Paved the way for the destruction of the entire Maratha Empire, entire Mughal Empire. The later Mughals were weak, but in spite of their weakness, they did not make any compromise. They did not compromise with the Indian regional rulers. They decided to fight against them. Why? Because regional rulers declared themselves independent and stopped paying taxes and revenues to the Mughals. During the last half under the rule of the later Mughals, the Mughals decided to give them special awards at the cost of money. That means the Mughals decided to sell their demands, to sell their rights at the cost of money. That means you keep on ruling your own state. You don't need to pay tax and revenues to the Mughals, but your right, the right of collecting taxes and revenues as an independent region. One permission is required from the Mughals, and under that very permission, they would be the legal tax collector. Earlier, they would collect taxes and revenues without the consent of the Mughal emperor, because they were doing it under the reign of the Mughals, because the Mughals were the central authority of India. But they were collecting taxes and revenues alone without paying a single amount of money for the Mughals. The later Mughals felt that they should be given a written forman. A written forman should be issued in the name of such regional kingdoms who would pay a certain amount of money and would be able to collect taxes and revenues legally. As a result, many Indian states decided to pay a certain amount of money for the forman of the Mughals issued in favor of them. But that system weakened later Mughals more and more. It showed the inherent weakness of the later Mughals. As a result, many invaders who had been watching the changing political situation of India, they invaded India from time to time. It was Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded Delhi during the reign of the later Mughals and destroyed the entire political hopes of the Mughals in India. Plundered a lot of money, plundered a lot of ornaments, a huge number of ornaments and stones. And became rich and prosperous at the cost of Indian wealth and money. The regional powers who declared themselves completely independent and gained the legal rights from the Mughals to collect taxes and revenues legally. Their independence also weakened the Mughals. So these were the main reasons, these were the main causes for the decline of the Mughal rule in India, my dear students, up to this. Thank you.